What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the show. Thank you again for joining me. This is going to be episode 2 of something I started a long time ago called Behind the Shot, where we tell stories of shots that we've gotten in the past and all this sort of hijinks and monkey business that went along with getting those shots. So rather than just sit at the kitchen table or on a couch or something boring, I thought we'd throw up a slack line between a couple of trees and try and tell the story from the slack line, which I think is probably a really bad idea, but at least it'll be some comic relief or something. So welcome back to the show. I'm glad you're here, and here we go. Already hot. I'm sweating. This is gonna be great. Okay, so the idea behind slacklining is basically that we take this 1-inch piece of nylon webbing, which has just a little bit of stretch, and we run it between a couple of fixed points, like trees or bolts to cliffs or whatever. I don't do that, just trees in the park because I'm a beginner. And basically we use a tension system to create a lot of tension on the line, thus allowing us to walk along it without touching the ground. So that's what we're going to do. I've only been able to turn around on the line since last week, so that might not work. We might have to do this in chunks. But anyway, let's first take a look at the picture I want to talk about, which is this photo of Mount Taranaki in New Zealand. We spent 2.5 months total in New Zealand on our around the world trip. This had been a shot that had been on my radar for a while. I'd seen it maybe in 2014 and had only found 1 or 2 shots from this spot. And well, I should get on the line before I start talking about that. All right, so the idea is very simple. Put 1 foot up on the line, and then in theory, we add the other foot. And we're off to the races. Oh, oh, I can tell this is a bad idea already. All right, so we are in New Zealand, and we found this shot that we want. This is a shot that, like I said, I'd found earlier, and it took me days of dragging around Google Maps to try and figure out where this thing was. And I finally got it, put a pin in it. When we're in New Zealand, try and walk backwards here. When we were in New Zealand, the weather had been kind of wonky, and we'd had a lot of rain and clouds, and really for this shot you need a clear sky, and they say that volcano is under clouds a lot. And so we'd been watching for about 3 weeks, which is a long time to watch a shot like that. But finally we got a 24-hour period. I told you this was a bad idea. So we've been watching this shot for about 3 weeks. And finally we get this 24 hours of clearing. So we drive like 6 hours across the North Island of New Zealand and to the bottom of this trailhead, not knowing what to expect. We took our camping gear. We'd seen that there was a little mountain hut up there, so we thought maybe we could spend the night there. We took sleeping bags and stuff anyway. Whoa. Oh, it's so hot. I'm so sweaty. Okay. So we have our sleeping bags. We start this hike, and the hike's like, and the hike is like 4 hours of, basically it's so soggy, the ground, that the Forest Service or whoever has built basically a 4-hour long staircase of these wooden stairs. And so we do these 4 hours, we run up the mountain, and we get up there just as we're approaching sunset. And we still don't know where these lakes are. We're just doing the best we can. So we hike down across the, we do the hike, we get to this little hut, and I know from my Google map that we need to go over the crest of the hill, down the back, and along this little traverse. So we find the traverse, we get down there just before twilight. The sun has gone down. There's still a little bit of color in the sky, but it's nothing to mention because there's no clouds, which is beautiful. So we hang out and we wait until the stars just start to come out. So the first shot I'm going to show you is the first shot we took, well, the last shot of that evening. The stars came out, the sky just turned this beautiful purple color, and I'm gonna try and turn around. I haven't done that yet. Stop laughing. I'm sorry. I told you this was gonna be a horrible episode. So the stars come out, we get this beautiful shot, super psyched, and it looks like it's gonna stay clear. So we go back to this hut, and while we've been gone, like, the place has been taken over by like 50 troubled teenagers on some nature walk to cure their souls. And they've got chaperones, like adults with them, supervisors. And these supervisors are making all the kids sleep outside the hut, which is great. And but they're a disaster. Just stuff's everywhere, and they weren't quiet. So we just spend this very sleepless night. Kids are noisy. The other people in the hut got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and slammed the door, woke us all back up. Anyway, super early, we decide we've had enough of this. We're gonna go back to the shot. Now I should say, this was long enough ago that the shot hadn't really been discovered by Instagrammers, and there wasn't a bunch of people there. Like, we literally had this spot to ourselves for 2 days, which was amazing. Back then there was a little bit of a wooden pathway near the ponds, but then you just kind of had to make your own trail to wherever you wanted to shoot there. Anyway, so we got set up at the back of the pond again for sunrise. Got kind of a beautiful sunrise shot, which I'll show you here. And then we thought, well, let's just stick around and see what happens once the sun's up. And as the sun came up, this crazy little section of clouds came up behind the behind the mountain and just looked like kind of flames coming over the top, and they were reflecting in the lake, pond, little tarn, whatever you call it. And it just turned into like 3 magical shots in the course of about 12 hours, which was awesome. But as happens many times on days when we end up shooting a lot, it gets a little manic and we end up getting more shots than we expected. So we had these 3 beautiful shots from the tarns there with the reflection, and we thought, well, what if we drove all the way around the other side of the volcano? Because on the, oh no, I'm okay. So basically the park that surrounds the volcano is this big circle. You can see it from space. So you see the big circle. Well, on the other side of the circle from where we were was this, no. On the other side of the circle, on the ocean side, oh my gosh, I'm so sweaty, my hair's just sticking to my neck. On the other side of the circle, on the other side of the park, is the ocean, and there's a lighthouse out there. That was another pin I had in my map. So we ran back down that crazy 4-hour wooden staircase to the car, drove all the way around to the other side of the volcano in time for sunset that day, set up, and there was like cows and this beautiful white lighthouse, and the sun was going down and the light was beautiful. And so we took this picture. I actually had to climb up on the roof of the car for this one because there were some fences that I just couldn't get out with creative framing. And then we thought we'd stick around until after blue hour and see if the light came on, which it did. And so we got this very blue shot at the end of the day of this of the lighthouse with this beautiful light on in the sky, and it's getting dark, and I'm just rambling to try and stay on the line now. And that, my friends, is story of the shot, episode 2. I hope we can do more of these in the future. Let me know if you enjoyed it, if you'd like to see more, if maybe we have a photograph that you'd like to hear the story of. Check us out on Instagram at Wanderborn, wherever that goes. And yeah, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. Leave me a leave me a comment. You know I like those. It's hard to look off center at the camera and stay on. Anyway, like, subscribe, you know what to do. Leave me a comment. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. And I give myself a little bit of a gap. Oh, all right, and then we crouch. Into the barrel. You're surfing, man. Oh, it's so hard to be stable here. Oh, look at that zen. Oh, mind of steel.